The hands are really, really important for helping swimmers go fast. Unfortunately, a lot of swimmers don't use their hands as effectively as possible, or they over-rely on their hands to accomplish objectives that can be best accomplished in other ways. What's one of the best ways to help them improve the ability to use their hands? Take their hands away. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. The hands are absolutely key for fast swimming. They're critical for creating propulsion. And if swimmers aren't using their hands effectively to create propulsion, they're not going to be going as fast as they can. The hands can also be used to compensate for losses of alignment. And if the hands are being used for that purpose, they're not going to be used for creating propulsion. In both cases, we can help swimmers learn how to use their hands more effectively to create propulsion, and we can help them learn how to stop using their hands to compensate for poor alignment. How? Have them swim with tennis balls. Let's check it out. Swimmers use their hands for everything, even when they probably shouldn't. The hands have so much sensation, there's so much sensory awareness, and we use our hands so much in everyday life that that's what swimmers rely on when they start swimming. And so propulsion powers swimmers down the pool. The arms create most of the propulsion, and the whole arm can be used as a surface area in order to create propulsion. The problem is that most swimmers struggle to use their entire arm because they focus so much on the hands. At the same time, many swimmers will struggle with their alignment and they'll perform sculling actions to compensate for those losses of alignment with the hands. And so if you've ever seen a swimmer take this giant big breath and then their hands start sculling and going all over the place, what they're doing, they've lost stability, they've lost alignment, and they're trying to create that or recreate that with their hand. Obviously, that's not what we want the hands to be doing, and it doesn't really work that well anyway. We're much better off taking that strategy away so that they have to learn how to improve their alignment normally and most effectively. And if they can do that, now the hands are free to create propulsion. The hands can't serve two masters. If they're trying to manage alignment, they're not going to be creating propulsion. It's going to be one or the other. So we want swimmers focusing on using their hands to create propulsion, and then we also want them to focus on using their entire arm to create propulsion. If that can happen, they're going to go faster. One of the best ways to help them use their hands more effectively is take the hands away. First of all, it helps swimmers learn to use their forearm. Because they can't create propulsion with the hand, they have to compensate with that. They have to learn to use their forearm more effectively. Swimming with a ball is going to make the hand much smaller. Swimming with a ball is going to make the hand much smaller. And so if swimmers want to move forward, they've got to use other surface area, primarily their forearm, to move themselves forward. Closing the hand also removes the flow of the water over the hand. And when that disappears, that increases the pressure sensitivity of the hands. So when swimmers finally open the hand back up, they're much more aware of what their hand is doing, what their hand is feeling. And when that happens, they can learn to use their hand more effectively as well. Finally, if swimmers are closing their hands because they've got a ball in their hands, that's going to prevent swimmers from using their hands to compensate for losses of alignment. If they get out of alignment, they can't use their hands to cheat or stabilize, and that's going to make them much more aware of the real problem, and it's going to force them to fix the real problem. So just by taking away the hands, we can help swimmers learn how to swim a whole lot more effectively. We can help them learn how to use their hands themselves better to create propulsion. We can help them learn how to use the forearm to create propulsion, and we can help them learn to improve their alignment by taking away their crutches. So how do you use this strategy as effectively as possible? First, you can use lots of different types of balls. They all have a similar but slightly different impact. You can use tennis balls, you can use lacrosse balls, you can use wiffle balls, you can use pickle balls, you can use golf balls. They have a different feel, they have a different weight to it, they have a different size to it. Those can all change how swimmers are interacting with the water, and they can all be effective at helping swimmers improve. They all have the same impact in a slightly different way. And you can have swimmers use tennis balls in any type of set. Speed sets, endurance sets, race sets, in every case, it's going to challenge swimmers to improve and create more propulsion as well as improve their alignment. You can also have swimmers hold tennis balls when using other skill development strategies. You can use them when they're drilling, you can use them when they're swimming against resistance, and you can use them when they're going really fast with fins. And within sets, you can change when you use tennis balls. You can have them alternate swimming with the tennis ball, swimming without the tennis ball, and you can also have them use one tennis ball in one hand at a time. And so when that happens, one hand's going to be a lot smaller than the other, and so it's going to be asymmetrical, And that's going to force swimmers to figure out how to swim symmetrically, even though they have a much smaller hand surface area in one hand. That's going to force them to figure out how to position the arm, how to position the forearm more effectively to create more propulsion to balance out the stroke. And it allows swimmers to feel two very different sensations with their arms at the same time, which can be really helpful for providing insight into how they're applying force, how they're creating propulsion. This is a freestyle set, and we're using tennis balls, and the purpose here is to help swimmers improve their breathing and prevent them from compensating for losses of alignment when they breathe. So if they have tennis balls in their hand and they take a breath and they lose their position, it's going to be very, very obvious, and they're not going to be able to scull or compensate with their hands. So they're going to have to figure out, how do I make that breath straighter and tighter, and how do I control my body position when I breathe? So they're going to go 825s paddle cap freestyle. That's going to force them to breathe low and straight. The odds, they're going to breathe to the left. The evens, they're going to breathe to the right. They're going to alternate 2 with tennis balls and 2 without to, again, challenge that skill even more. They're going to build those repetitions to strong to add a little bit of a speed component and force them to execute that breath and that skill at higher speeds. Then they're going to go 350s freestyle, build to strong. The first one's with tennis balls. The second 2 are without. Again, they're just trying to swim with really, really good breathing and make it happen. The second half of the set has the same basic structure, except instead of building to strong, they're going to descend to strong in pairs, and they're going to do that on the 25s, and they're also going to do that on the 50s. So we're challenging swimmers' skills in the same way in both pieces of this set. The idea is they've got to be really good with their breathing with the paddle cap freestyle, with the paddles on their head, and that by using the tennis balls, they have to be really disciplined with the breath because they can't scull to compensate with the hands. Next set is a speed set, and we're focusing here on helping swimmers learn to create more propulsion at high speeds. So they're going to go 325s butterfly, descend 1 to 3 to fast at the same stroke count. And on round 1, they're going to go tennis balls in both hands, so they've got to manage that. Round 2, they're going to go tennis ball in right hands, so they'll be asymmetrical when they're swimming. And then the next round, they're going to go tennis ball in the left hand. Then they're going to go 125 butterfly again with the tennis balls. That's faster than those first 3. Then they're going to go 25 butterfly fast with open hands and a 25 butterfly easy. So the idea here is they've got to be long, they've got to be fast with the stroke count and the descending, and they've got to make that happen when they've got compromised hands due to the tennis balls. So they've got to be really effective at setting up the stroke well and holding it throughout the entire stroke. Then they get the chance to put it all together once they open up their hands again. So it's a great way to put even more pressure on the skill of holding a lot of water. This set is a backstroke racing set, and we're going to use the tennis balls to help swimmers learn how to create more propulsion when they're racing. So they're going to start off with 250s backstroke with tennis balls and a buoy. They're going to go race effort, but they've got to keep the stroke count the same, both 25s. So they've got to be really efficient that second 25 while still going as fast as they can. They can't use the legs and they can't use the hands in order to compensate. Then they're going to go the same thing, but without the buoy. So now they're going to add the legs back in, and they're going to finish it off with a 50 backstroke fast, opening the hands up, let it rip, and see what happens. Then the next piece, they're going to go 450s backstroke race. Again, same stroke count, both 25s. They've got to be really efficient. The odds are with a buoy and a tennis balls, and the evens are swim. So on the odds, there's a lot of pressure on the upper body. The evens, they're trying to make it happen with regular backstroke, and then they're going to go a 50 backstroke fast. Then the next set, they're going to go 450s backstroke race again. Still same stroke count, both 25s. The odds are with tennis balls. The evens are swim. They're not going to use the buoy at all. And they're going to finish off with a 50 backstroke fast. So by using the tennis balls, using the stroke count, we're putting more pressure on their ability to create propulsion. And by using the buoy, we're making sure that they accomplish that objective with their hands. Then as we work through the set, we get more and more regular swimming, so they get the opportunity to put that into practice and make it happen when they're actually swimming. If you want to learn more about how to use different hand postures to help swimmers improve their skill and go faster, check out the video below.